that. Air right from the water, the walk, giving us the breath, man. False prophets, man. False gods. They got these little heavenly kingdoms, man, that we wrapping up right now on their ass. We got the ancestors running through that shit because they marketed to our ancestors, which our ancestors are faithists. You know, very, very noble, very, very kind. Remember, they can do little shit like this, like fuck up the current. You know what I mean? I ain't even moving the phone and shit, so they know already, man. Truth finna be spilt out, and they moving the phone and shit, so they know already, man. Truth finna be spilt out, and they know it. So, anywhere you see a mound at, the mound builders come from the mainland, which is Gautama, which is Amaru. Amaru is the actual land of the true milk and honey, big dog, and light. That's the land where the Most High only known that special brand or cast of people. So, anyhow though, you're dealing with false prophets that told us, try to market to us to get up out of that land, try to get over to the other side of the world, man, in Africa that don't even really have dams like that. In America, we got a gang of dams, man. You know, the land of the beaver. So we got a lot of shit popping. And we had a lot of shit popping. We got a lot of things that was going on. So people they grew very jealous and envious of how we lived our life. Like, it was really normal. Can you imagine pulling up on a city like New York and you ain't never seen nothing like that in your life? You just been seeing dirt and dust and all these different things. You don't even know what planting food is going on. So yeah, they're gonna really want you. They know your faith is so strong that they'll actually send you false prophets. I got people that just want to listen by me and shit. Put mics up, man. They know what's up. They know what I'm saying. They wonder who the hell is this knocker, man. I got birds and stuff around the knocker, man. They're like, damn, you know, because it's already programmed on what we're supposed to do. You know, we're not like, as far as like, hey man, you're not supposed to come together. You're not supposed to do this, that, and the third. Anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this while we got a great stream. Because there's false prophets that were in the midst, man, and a lot of our people were marketed to through their spiritual development. A lot of people have cluster B personalities, so that means it was probably touched or had incest going on, psychology now. And then when they got into relationships, it became toxic. And then they developed, you know, Stockholm syndrome, wishing and wanting to be with the person who hurt them the most. So as a people, they want to do that as us, as a whole. And so by doing that, this is how they can gain place into our heavens, because each land has a heaven over that area. And our land just happen to have the highest heaven. And this is why they marketed to us to try to get us out of our land to go over to Africa. Not back, but over to Africa. A lot of things go down over there. There's a lot of animalistic nature that pops off. Predator-like instinct. People do a lot of bribery when you switch it over into the humane system, into the human world. That's why when they come over to America, they don't want to leave. They get a chance to drive through the lands and get to look at all this beautiful landscape and shit without nobody really harassing them, you know? So yeah, it's a lot of things that went on that try to market, hey, what's going on? Ooh, what's happening? So a lot of things going on by trying to get the indigenous American nigga up out of there to go to Africa. All the castles is in America. When you come to America, you'll see they've been turned to churches. You know, the cross has been put up there, but it's been kind of slanted a little bit. But we dealt with Zodiac, the true and living, like, you know, the divine, how things is mapped out just just being able to map out, you know, generations throughout time and agriculture as well. So yeah, it's not that we worship the stars. The stars is very high in advance. It's divine. Unless somebody got up there in the mortal form that was able to move them motherfuckers around, they've been set since the beginning of time. So the true corn moon Sabbath that just happened around my born day, that right there, which is true Sabbath, but that's what we have to be on true Sabbath mode. We have to honor the moon in this cycle, just like honor our woman when she's on that cycle too. You know, so this is what false prophets ain't tell us to do. They're too busy trying to get us to worship these motherfuckers and kind of making us appealing to us through their little linguistic talents. Like, I know Cyrillic, I know Hebrew, I know, you know, all this stuff, shit that'll make you like, oh, you're like 16 years old looking at that shit. But the niggas that was 16 is like 40 something now. So it's like, okay, what's going on now? And then you got new niggas that's coming into the game still trying to push this false prophet. And I like these people's musicians game, but it's like you can't push the false prophet no more. You got to touch it to the God within your own self, which is the heart. The heart ain't a pump. Once you realize that, the heart is a vortex. It's supernatural. Everything is supernatural, baby. That's why it makes us so special. because only he known us, the creator. We get inspiration directly from the creator. That's why everybody want our land. They want to see, like, if they see a motherfucker so strong, they want to eat him type shit. Hey, they want to eat him, I might get the powers. This is how Neanderthals, like, these motherfuckers think. No matter if they black, white, Asian persuasion. Most I describe these people as like drugs, or people who can't see, make it hard for them to see spiritual things. Whereas we, as people who's Iowans, or people who are like who are chosen to see, they can be able to see spiritual things, and we're able to be taught by their ancestors. And this has been going on since the beginning of time, and they know that. So this is how they try to find the Iowans, and so to be able to, you know, make them seem like they're crazy, and they're separating them from their people. Hey, what's happening? T.O., what's happening? What's your favorite game? Mike Tyson Punch-Out, 1987, I think 1988, something like that. So I'm jumping right back into the game. I know y'all like, what the hell, Papa? I'm talking to a whole full of world. This will make sense to y'all later on in about 2 years if y'all young in the game. Shout out to my gamers. Alright? Mike Tyson Punch-Out, one of the best games ever invented. Alright? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade version too. That's another good for you. We jump back into the game. But yeah, we had false prophets that were sent to us to try to make niggas think that they were from Africa. And we're trying to tell y'all, like, nah, man, we got grandpa and grandma been telling us we from the South. That's what we're telling the rest of the world. Like, yo, man, our land was just taken over. It was beautiful. We didn't have no murders and no things of that nature. We weren't worshiping false gods. The land was called Gautama. You see that name all over. Gautama, which is the only land, which is the land of the mound builders. The land of the mound builders are the ones who went out around the world. So anytime you see a mound in the world, I mean, the mound builders went out to the world and show everyone how to bury their dead. They didn't know how to do it. People were eating their dead and all that shit, you know? And so now we know that, okay, the mound builders preceded the so-called Egyptian dynasty type stuff. So now we know these things. But the false prophets never really told us this stuff. They only told us a little bit, like Malachi York, because everybody's going to be dragging on his shit real fast, so we don't have to just jump and punch him on down. Shout out to Young Pharaoh. He already dropped the bomb on them, and you know what I mean. So I don't consider Young Pharaoh a false prophet. He was just young at the time, dropping this information of the regurgitated NOI information. But it's cool though. It was cool, but he still had confidence, and he still figured out what he had to say and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the false prophets of the NOI, they didn't speak on Egyptology. Only the gods and earths who was able to venture out with the first degree, which is knowledge. So we weren't afraid to go out and knowledge and information and see what was going on. It means we had to look, listen, observe, and respect, and be quiet to show that supreme equality, so we can gain this understanding, man. You know what I'm saying? That show that we're wise. So anyhow, so shout out to them. But yeah, but you know, you got like Malachi York. He was coming in telling the story of our land, like it was on his planet. Now, they were so swift, he said that they broke up planets and stuff like that. This is a false prophet. When the Owaspi tells you that when you're in the angelic form and you done studied for thousands of years how to fly a certain craft, where it's a light craft is bigger than a city, as big as a city or a world, and not in a corporeal form where it's like you talk about the world now. The world is like it's inside of like a dome type of thing, but it's like a 360 degrees where it's leveled out in the middle. So it's layered out by density and buoyancy. That's deep. That's a little deeper, because they told us that in the Copernicus model, the NOI said that, hey man, the planets are out there 3 billion miles away. You got Venus. That's where we started to go on, you know. And you know, Malachi York came further that out with this, oh man, the galaxies, this, that, and the third, because he continued on Elijah Muhammad's false message as far as like, he'll tell you that the mothership is around because he knows that that's around, because that was already spoken about in the Owaspi book. But we weren't aware of the Owaspi at those times. The Owaspi is a book that explains the heaven, the earth, and the sky, and the corporeal bodies and stuff like that, and how the land and how heavens are made up. And our libraries, but it's said that it came from a man who came out with automatic writing. And I ain't gonna knock it. You may have came from automatic writing. But in this book, 80% is more true. So these individuals, they wanted to make their religion, and so they did. They came through. And they gave us a false narrative to try to get us up off of the most beautiful land in the world. They say that it was the worst part, and that Arabia is the best part. It could be for oil and money, but as far as like a self-sustaining part, America has everything and above. They have fossilized trees, you know, redwoods and everything, oil, all that. You know, that's why Texas don't want to give Texas up. They want to be like, yo, Texas want to be their own shit, because it's like, nigga, we got everything over in Texas. Land, cattle, we got everything, oil, all of that. You know, so Anyhow, though, they know this. And so when you have false prophets that have been they've been marketing from their higher uppers to get us up off our land. They could have told us all the way that we niggas is from Amaru, Tamari. They could have said it. Ain't not one of them except Malachi York mentioned it a little bit, but he tried to tie himself into it like he was the divine one with the cheap shit on, like, you know, all his pictures and shit. You know, I don't know if y'all noticed Malachi, but that's what he was on, though. You know what I mean? And but everybody's supposedly be employed by these companies, but ain't nobody got no land. It's crazy. You can actually pay $27 and be a part of the Malachi shit. Like, yo, I'm a Nuwapi, nigga. Put on the hat and everything with the upside down crown and the 6-point star and all that. And yeah, all that, nigga. You a white boy, whatever, with the Nuwapi and shit, nigga. I'm Nuwapi, dog. I done paid my $27. I paid my dues. But Most High don't have it that way. To pay your dues is to pay your tithes, which is a spiritual life, which is you have this light that's inside your belly that you must raise up to the top crown chakra that will make you gods on earth, which is, it's like the man's period. So instead of going out like how the woman's do, go down, it's like the 6-point star, his goes up. It's boom, boom, boom. And so it reaches the crown. It's very important for him to be that because he's the head of the family. Once he has the Godhead, he's connected. But if he's out here just running around, just lusting over his broad and doing all these different things, he's not going to be connected. So that's how you pay your tithes. You got to get no $27. Ain't that right, Dougie Dove? You got to pay no dang $27 and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? What's happening? Minneapolis? I've been up there, but I've been through up that way. Our self is this through kundalini energy, man. Our kundalini, the sexual energy, started off pretty early. It's for everyone if we want to change the world. If you don't want to change the world, and you don't want to make it a better place, like Michael said, man, don't do this. But if you really want to be the best part of your own being, what you're going to have to do, cultivate that sexual energy. Start cultivating it into things that you can practice within your life, because everything's a practice, you know. You're in the slowest vibratorial form of existence. We're slowed down, really, really slow, at a slow vibratorial rate. It's a corporal form. It's a corporeal reality now, you know? And so, basically, just getting to just to get to this point, false prophets ain't tell us this all the way. They tell us a little bit and how to seem smart and more intelligent, like the big I, little U type of stuff. I know this and I know these languages, versus just showing you like, yo, man, look, we've been celibate for this and that and the third, this is what the team, this is what we do, and this is how we manifesting these things. We got the land, boom, 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 boom. Instead of just being one. But now we're in a new age, we're all finna do it. But the false prophets didn't tell us to do it because they wanted to. I'm gonna say, why? Because they didn't want us to gain complete control and power of our own being. And the kundalini is the only way you can do that. It's the only way. This is how you gain that compassion, that love. You know, love is patience, Pete. You know, love is, you have to cultivate these spirits, cultivate the gifts of the spirit while you're in the flesh, or else the heavens will be forced upon you without doing such, you'll be easily led in the wrong direction, hard to be led in the right. I'm going to take the lessons of the NOI and say it just like that. That's what an 85er is. When spiritually is an 85er, that's what happens, because you're influenced by spirits that's around you. If you get back up onto the higher points, which is the chakra system, we don't want to make it too complicated, but you know you have a light that's up there. Every time you see a picture of Jesus, his shit was just always glowing and shit. And it wasn't because he was a hippie, you know? It's that kundalini that he raised every year. You know, when they say he died at 33, crucified at 33, that's because the light took 33 years to get to the crown chakra. We got 33 vertebrae, and it gets right up to the point. That's when he started glowing. He didn't have sex at the beginning of his life, you know, so this is why it's important too. We're gonna change up the whole narrative of man having sex at a young age, like animalistic when they turn teenagers. We're not like you know, when they turn teenagers, like in Africa, it's like, yo, you do this. Now you jump off this thing, tie your feet, fall on the ground, you're a man now. Or you go hunt and get this. Yeah, we go hunt and go get the feather of a certain bird, you know. Yes, but that doesn't mean that we have to have sex now. Now we have to be able to attain this sexual energy, and I know it's easy. I know we can do it. Not saying that it's easy, but I know that the new generation can do it. I knew I could have done it, but I was exposed to certain things to be able to talk about these cluster B personality disorders issues in our community now. But to repent, mean that you already tapped into the is a little bit more harder. So this is why that's why I promote celibacy and semen retention, semen sacredness. This is very important, G. This is how we get the light to glow back. And our seeds to be able, when they're teenagers, they'll be able to cope, they'll be able to harness that energy of that horny energy, as far as like being able to go out and being lustful and playing with itself. Really, a boy don't really think about playing with itself. He's probably observed that from somewhere, or thought about something, or heard it from somewhere. He's not really thinking about sex. He's thinking about running, jumping, playing, being the best physical specimen that he could possibly be. In order to do this, you have to cultivate that energy and harness that sexual energy. So getting married when you're around like 30, 33, 35, it's cool. You think that's old, but it's not. You're moving swift. You're still swift and smart if you're keeping your body up. Because the older you get, the more responsible your individual spirit has for the body. And when you're younger, you're still being taken care of pretty much by the creator, especially if you're kind of like, attached. So it's like, but as you grow, you get more detached from that, and you start eating certain ways that you want to eat, because you've grown. So you've grown now. But now we have a certain thing where we're not like the Africans. We're not having sex and starting babies and together right away. We're going ahead and getting ourselves. We're waiting. You can experience relationships. We're not through intimacy out the window now. Kissing. I can't even generation, kissing on the neck and the ear. You do that a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. You can't make a girl fall in love with you like that. That was the way, because they have certain bacteria. Now you can't do it because everybody eats a certain way. But, as far as as our people, we were doing that to a lot of different people, and they didn't understand, certain cultures don't understand that kissing and loving aspect as we had, because we was touched by the creator, G. And so, I know that it's going to all add together about this. The corn moon, I know I was about to build about that. I'm jumping around. That lunar eclipse, seen it in the early rising, the blood moon, whatever they want to call it, but it just happened to be the corn moon. So shout out to We Know the Truth now. We're rolling the corn on their asses. So it just goes, shows and proves everything is ending now. That eclipse is eclipsing a certain energy that tried to get to us, to try to get us off of who we truly are. And so by doing that, boom, the universe, the divine, eclipsed that out the way, allowed us to continue to receive the divine downloads that we're getting from the you and I. The planets are alive, G. Everything's alive, really. The divine is alive, that's above. So as above, so below. So anyhow, though, cultivating that kundalini energy, our young men will be able to do this. It'll become a ritual now, where they can be able to date. They'll date, say if it's an older woman. We're not having singles around couples and stuff like that. We're having couple areas. We have the young areas. We got we got the single areas, the couples areas, the young people's areas, all that stuff, like how you have clubs and stuff. We're gonna have it set. Everything's not gonna be mingled all together. This is how we're gonna cultivate our energy. It's gonna be fun and shit like how it's supposed to be, really. So instead of just pardon me, y'all almost trying to get in this part. I had to make sure I clear my throat. So I just, cater to that sexual energy and shit like that. As far as releasing and starting a family when you're 15 years old, you don't even know how it feels to be 20 years old. You ain't even drink no liquor yet. Some coaches give boys liquor right away when they're 14 or something. Let them cuss in the house and all that shit. When they turn 14, they can bust a nut. Hold on. When I heard it, yo, man, you smelling his nuts now, man. That's how I said when I was raised all the way up to a man. A child all up to a man. I was raised up to. I was raised by men. So it's yo, man, when a boy get to smelling his nuts and balls, you got to increase certain activities and his discipline. This is why it's important if you got a boy that's 16, 17, even 13, when he's starting to smell his own balls and shit like that, you got to jiggle that door, man, when he's in the bathroom. Because he's starting to figure out certain things and not release that light. It's very important, man. You know what I mean? That's what it is. So, and that's why you got to be on boys like that, because the sexual energy, he can go a little bit lower than women. Women is they're just naturally beautiful, and they're naturally, seductive. They can be, every one of them. I don't care who you are. She can be a covert brainiac, man, meaning that she be hiding her intelligence or her intentions to make you a supply source to her mind, motherfucker. It won't give you no damn pussy and shit. You just be, I guess a pussy then no. You know what I'm saying? Because you just feel so stupid and shit. She make you find a way to make you feel stupid. You see, that's where the toxic relationships come in at. This is what we gotta cultivate. That's why guys and nurses always talk about man and woman and child to family. You gotta worry about when we handle that, everything start handling is and be in place in order, people. When you just out here just trying to market to niggas and go to whole another land and shit, we ain't even got the family in order, because motherfuckers is coming to the house trying to bomb the house, fuck shit up. Niggas is out trying to fuck other white girls because they mad that they woman getting called out the house by any time. They got the white man on. Shit going on. Supposed to address the family first. A lot of things going on, people. You know what I mean? Hey, did that mean you're from Russia? I hope I said it right. I hope I said it right. Because, you know, hey, now we're just discussing that the Amaru or the nigga that's in America ain't from Africa and shit. We're just two different niggas. The Africans is different from us. We like the African more than the African like the African and shit. You know, in our land, we don't bribe. So we just got used to this. We just got in tune with this old bribing stuff. Here comes this old bribing stuff. That's like when the police came when we ain't had no license or something like that. We're like, damn, but we got some money. We'll probably get the police like, yo, you got $20, man. Both of y'all gonna have y'all some steak or something, man. We'll say something like that. Let's keep our ass free. It's not like give you money, just be giving you money and shit. You know what I mean? When they caught on that we'll do that, that's when they want to bribe us. So like in Africa, that just we walk down the street, motherfuckers still bribe the police and just walk up to you like him right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, huh? You want some money from me? You know, nigga, I ain't got no goddamn money. I'm coming home. Is this home? This ain't home. I welcome my home. If you was taken somewhere and I got a place for all of us to stay now, nigga, I'm gonna get the plane and get all you. What they was trying to disturb, nigga, man. I'm trying to tell you. Most I was getting wild up in there, boy. But I'm like, yo, man, how your own plane? Wild up in there, boy. But I'm like, yo, man, how your own plane, your own area, man. We got your own areas. Do what you want to do. You run some tractors, nigga. Motherfucker just gave us 14 billion, nigga. Here go 5 for your ass, man. Who you buying shit from? I don't know. The motherfuckers ain't abiding by the rules of their heavens and shit over there. You got motherfuckers floating up the ground, niggas walking, this nigga floating 12 up the ground and shit. Them niggas fucking with angels, nigga. We told most of us, nigga, don't fuck them angels like that. Them motherfuckers acting like they gods over you and shit. So they know they playing with that shit. That's why they fucking all the whole little spell work. I'm gonna get you over there and start putting the spell work on your ass and shit, nigga. But the real ones, the real niggas go over there who got the angels like motherfucking, you say like like a Mayweather entourage, nigga. Like we come over there deep. Yeah. That's how they came to come into America. They came with their angels and shit. When you travel like that and you deep in the spirit game, you gotta roll with angels, nigga. Like angels gotta be deep with your ass when you go to foreign lands like that. That's when you know your whole weight. Cause they know what's up with the spirit world. I don't know if you ever Sucker, but Sucker, you dealing with it's a whole little Chinese, everything's popping off. They got rappers that popped up over there, but they made they false heavens by murder, death, kill. That's why you see them niggas out there parading with the goddamn military in the street with the tanks, with all the missiles pointing up. Like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? That's how they made they false heavens. Like, fuck with us, we'll add you in our heavens. You're gonna be slaves in our shit too. That's how they did it. It's the same way as Stargate. When you got all the motherfuckers, the Goa'uld, if you ever watch Stargate, these niggas had the snake, these parasites that were inside of them. And so they'll go to different worlds and they'll run these worlds during these certain cycles. And so if you was like a false god, they'll run their worlds in certain ways. Like how we say Anu-Hasad or Anu. Or the Anunnaki, all them words coming up. But Anu-Hasad was one of the false gods that was spoken upon in the Owaski. The false gods, the false prophets like Malachi York and Elijah Muhammad didn't say nothing about. This is a book that preceded all their books. So this was already written before them. Before they're talking about 983 and all of that shit, this book came out in 1848 type shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And got 2 more editions on it. So whatever they talking about, I can hear little clips in there in that book. Okay? So anyhow, the Anu-Hasads and all these different beings, and these are false gods who fell from grace, who wanted to rule humanity, or corporeal beings, or mortals. Mortals are ones who haven't lived a spiritual life all the way. Yeah, they haven't transitioned or died yet. All these angels, them niggas died already. They know what it takes. They've been in the spirit world for hundreds of years already, man. And they trying to take over shit. And their grade upon transitioning is pretty low. Now, and when I say grade, everything is just as above, so below, because there's graded. These mothers didn't just come up with that shit. They weren't inspired to come up with the science of grade and government while they on earth. That shit was made in heaven already. Government is like the diva. The diva is the true diva, not the divas of dealing with the Vedic astrology, the Satan, the evil or wicked ones. That's a whole nother story. However, that came with Zarathustra. Zarathustra's story was bitten off of, all that story was bitten and taken around the world. But that's another story though. But the false gods that came into the game, these mothers, Anu-Hasads, they don't understand that Stargate I'm in. These guys, they got the snake on the inside of them. So they're gonna tell you some truth or false or whatnot with it. So they've been getting discovered, as ruling these worlds through these stargates. because they can't rule it through etheria. They can only go interstellarly, which is like to some worlds through their domes or their atmospheres, but they don't tell you that it's like that, but this is what it is. And they can go through it through stargates to get to different galaxies. Some of them don't know how to do that. Only certain races know how to get to different galaxies through these stargates, but they know that the ancients built these things. However, false gods slipped up in there named Imhotep, who was basically like a Malachi York, who came and ran amongst humanity and still was trying to, run rampant amongst the mortals and trying to be a false god. So he's like one of the last ones. So this is why it's very important to get off of all that shit, because it's sci-fi shit. We know the science of heavens and earth. The heavens and earth is when you transition, you have a first resurrection, second resurrection, and third resurrection. It's like the first Van Allen belt, second Van Allen belt, third Van Allen belt. The moon is right up there. That's why they can't get to the moon. That's another story. But the moon acts on behalf of the earth as being a representative of the map and also the Sabbath of resting on these days of these cosmic energies. This is why the moon goes in every sign in the Zodiac quicker than all the signs, because it gets you equipped and used to your own personality through your own natal chart. And that's how we start, connecting. But that's what's going to happen now. So that's why as brothers in America, we giving back their false prophets to them, man. I'm talking about everybody who's like Elijah Muhammad talking about the Islam. I respect the Sunni Islam. If y'all going to do what y'all do over there, that's how you is. They spread it through the sword. We don't really have to do that because we were touched by the Creator, the only one that the Creator said as known, like a true Israelite, or the true Israelite, or the true faithist, the one who naturally believe in God. We naturally didn't murder, death, kill how they show on TV like this. We became gaslighted and projected upon through the personality disorder that these people have. You can see it in ICD-9, ICD-10. You can Google it. It's right in there. And being that we was exposed to them when they took over our lands was our own. We were POWs, meaning that we were prisoners of war. They took over our lands. We already had cotton growing in the field already, making our cloths the most elaborate cloths that you will see, Victoria-like. Linen, we had everything, all of that. We already had tobacco, weed, buildings, castles. When they seen us, we had castles over there, And so they ramshacked our castles and attacked us. And then now you see the remnants. It took damn 1,000 years, and they broke us down every 200 years. So they sent in more people every 200 years to break us down. And we still didn't lose our spirit. So this is why they really want our land, because they want to get into this heaven. Now, according to this book called Beyond the Poles, you're about to put this together. It's 178 worlds within this big supreme membrane, a big dome. You got right, most high feeling it, boy. Woo-hoo. You're feeling it. That's the water responding. It's saying Hawa. That's the most High's name, the I am. And so it's these worlds that's within that, and there's more worlds outside of the membranes. But these worlds, our world just happen to be connected to a celestial world, which is a world that is hard for them to get into, which is basically a heaven. You have to look at it in layers and not just like, spread out. The galaxy is really a flat disc. It's a flat disc within a square, but it's really a disc. I have to be careful because the water's about to come up. Most I'm feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a flat disc with all the stars in there, but if you look at it, it's spinning. Now, when the galaxy is coming together with all these worlds, that means that the Most High is tapped in. Well, he's already tapped in, but all the worlds are catching on to forming an elliptical galaxy. That's what it will look like to other galaxies, where they'll be like, damn, I can see the lens, because they get lenses from their angels that go to worlds. They go to worlds too, but they can't go to worlds, to galaxies like Ethereans can. This is to see the Creator's vast creation. That's the B word, the B letter, which is the B and born. Okay. The false prophets came through, which is Saturn and Pluto. And to know Zodiac, is what we got to talk about. Alright? Relying on us. They're relying on us. Shit. Days to eat silica-based foods. Don't eat carbon-based, we don't give them that carbon shit back. That's right. Give them that carbon back. We got silica in the water right there. You know what I'm saying? It's the second most abundant element on Earth besides oxygen. think that's oxygen you're breathing? You know what I mean? I understand it's the Most High's breath. That's how we're living right now in the corporeal form, the corporate form. These people, these false prophets came and backed up the Copernicus model of the universe. And we're changing it up, G. You know what I'm saying? Everything's changing up. So yes, the galaxy, the water is, up there is water, but it's water in a different format. It's not water in a way where we think this is salt water. We have salt water coming out of our pores. Some people say we have sugar water. Are you sweating sugar water? Like, I want to, that chick, that female, she look like she's sweating sugar water. I want to lick her. But nah, it's salt water. It's a silica too, with crystals, man. Crystals. So we eat crystal-based food, like, you know, leafy greens and fruits, berries, and melons. You know, spiritual foods. This beings that eat spiritual foods, they can't even see spiritual things. I'm talking about like the gorilla, the orangutan. They're smart, but they're not spiritually in tune, being able to see sargas and see actual spiritual things that's vibrating 300 to 700 nanometers outside of our senses of light, sound, taste, and touch. You know? So yeah, we have worlds. These people, they go to worlds, man, they develop, they get certain technologies, like you see on sci-fi shit. They steal technologies from certain worlds, and they bring them back to their little home bases and teach their mortals. And, you know, at the same time, they teach their angels on those worlds who can only travel as far as second resurrection to each world. Each world is created by the Most High Creator. They can't never get to the third resurrection of a world because that's where the Most High has chosen when they transition and continue on, when the world is taken over. But now when the world is set back in order, where every man and woman and child will be able to see spiritual nature, and they won't have to depend on a priest, but they'll all be priests. Priest queens, priest kings, priestesses, hierophants, all that. This is when, you know, everyone will be united on that third resurrection on the highest heavens. You won't have nightmares, because every time you go to sleep, you got to produce that DMT molecule that pretty much shows which level of heaven you on when you go to rest. You're not just traveling in the galaxy somewhere, just like nah. You have a cord that goes to certain things. They tell you little truths, you know what I mean, they big ass lie. But you're connected to your ancestors, your family. And so some of your families are strong, some of your families at certain levels of being strong, getting stronger. Certain families is kind of weak. Certain families are just now developing their spiritual nature on the other side. You know, so it's like certain families have already been through a lot of shit. They done been through the whole little murder, death, kills, and accidental stuff. And so they're at a ripened level for their mortals to be born. And they're not being born by like 10 motherfuckers families. It's like 2 now, maybe 4 at the most. You know what I mean? It's different now. You know, they're taking care of how they're birthing the child now. We're not having sex and just having sex and birthing the child. When we're birthing the child, we're thinking if it's going to be a boy or a girl. Meaning that you can't be having a girl, you're hitting her from the back, if you turn around and look at you in the face, you might have an off sexual. Everything got to be focused. You know what I mean? I had that boy and a girl in deliverance, so I see what's up. It's the future. I had to go through it so I can be able to tell y'all. A lot of us ain't been through it and even looked the part. These people that try to do it, they get caught with sexual harassment, everything, all false prophets and shit. Even your brother polites and even some of your brothers that I was like that came off natural.